It started on a Saturday morning in June. You think a piece of paper gives you the right to destroy community tradition? Patricia Holbrook screamed in her microphone, standing on my grandfather's dock with 40 strangers eating barbecue behind her. My marina, my property, my inheritance. But according to the HOA president, I was the problem. Patricia had convinced everyone that my 2-acre waterfront, bought by my grandfather 13 years before the neighborhood even existed, was now community property. I woke up to laughter that didn't belong, too loud, too early. Looking out the window, I saw smoke, chairs, and children running on my dock. In the center, Patricia held a microphone like she was hosting a morning show. The private property sign I'd mounted last month was torn off. This wasn't confusion. It was deliberate. I threw on jeans, grabbed my phone, and walked down toward the marina, heart pounding. On my desk sat the brass key my grandfather had given me before he died. "This key is proof, Cole," he'd said. "Don't let anyone take what we built." Back then I thought he was being sentimental. Now I understood he'd been warning me. As I reached the dock, Patricia greeted me with a smug smile. "Good morning, Cole. We're celebrating community spirit today." I replied evenly, "This is private property. You need to leave." Patricia laughed, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Private? Honey, this is HOA common area. Page 12 of the handbook." Some people actually nodded. A few even pitted me like I was mistaken. I started recording everything. Photos of the banner, the crowd, the missing sign. "You have 10 minutes to leave, or I'm calling the police." Patricia's smile faltered, then returned. "Go ahead. They'll tell you the same thing." I stepped away and called 911. The dispatcher said it could take an hour. I knew I was on my own. 40 minutes later, Officer Garrett arrived, polite but tired. I showed him my deed, tax papers, and the property map. He nodded. "This seems in order, Mr. Brennan." Then Patricia waved her binder. "See? Waterfront access. HOA rules. Always been community property." The officer sighed. "This looks like a civil dispute. You'll need to handle it through court." And just like that, he left. Patricia leaned close as she passed me. "You should have played nice, Cole. Now everyone knows you're the problem." That night, Patricia sent a community-wide email. "Dear neighbors, one resident is attempting to restrict community access to our shared waterfront." She never used my name, but everyone knew. By morning, she'd posted photos online, smiling families on the dock. The caption read, "So heartwarming to see neighbors together. Sadly, some don't share our community values." Hundreds of comments followed. "Selfish. Kick him out of the HOA." In one weekend, I'd become the neighborhood villain. Even local shops avoided me. The HOA didn't need to threaten. Isolation did the work for them. I didn't argue online. I researched Texas property law, HOA regulations, adverse possession. The facts were clear. My grandfather bought the land in 1985, 13 years before the HOA existed. The marina was never part of their common areas. My grandfather's words echoed in my mind. "They always want more, Cole. Protect what's yours." So I documented everything. Every photo, every trespass, every fine. On Tuesday evening, my doorbell rang. It was Mr. Calloway, the quiet man I'd seen at the barbecue. He looked uneasy. "Mind if I come in?" He told me he'd lived in Lakewood Estates since 1999. He remembered when my grandfather refused to sell the marina to the developers. They wanted it as a community amenity, he said. Your grandfather said no and got it in writing. Private property forever. Then he leaned closer. Patricia's been planning this for years. She's a realtor. If she claims the marina as common space, every house value jumps and she earns the commissions. Her husband runs the HOA's landscaping company, too. He handed me a card with contacts, the county clerk, old developers, and a lawyer. You're not alone, Cole. Some of us see what she's doing. We'll back you when it counts. That night, I received a letter on my porch. HOA fine, $500 per day for unauthorized signage. The signs I'd put up to protect my property were now violations. I smiled. Every overstep was another piece of evidence. I added the fine notice to my growing folder and called a property attorney. It was time to stop reacting and start fighting back. 3 days later, an emergency HOA meeting was called. 57 residents packed the community hall, record attendance. Patricia stood at the front with a projector showing photos of the marina. Families smiling, children laughing. For 20 years, she said, this has been our gathering place. And one person wants to take that away. Every eye turned toward me. I walked to the microphone, calm and ready. Marina Bay predates this HOA by 13 years, I said. The original deed proves ownership. I'm not taking anything. I'm protecting what was never yours to give. I handed out bound copies of the documents. Deed, survey, tax map. Some people looked stunned. Others avoided my gaze. Patricia didn't speak again. Her smile had finally cracked. And for the first time, the room didn't seem fully on her side. I walked out into the warm night air, the brass key in my hand. This fight wasn't over, but I finally had the truth, the proof, and allies. Now, it was her turn to answer for everything.